Welcome to the Good Good podcast. I'm your host, Dee Talley, mama, licensed acupuncturist, herbalist, and embodiment coach. Here we dive deep into the realms of energy, consciousness, awareness, empowerment, and personal transformation to help you create a more vibrant and juicy life. Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Good Good. I'm your host, Dee Talley. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm really happy that you're here. We are coming up on Thanksgiving, and I feel like what would be like the most expected thing would be for me to talk about gratitude. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So instead, I want to talk to you about how to protect your peace this Thanksgiving. And this is going to touch on a couple of different concepts. So many of these things kind of build upon one another. And they're all important. You know, I first want to start off by saying that Thanksgiving and coming together for big family holidays is a beautiful time. It's wonderful to see family members. And it's amazing to be with our loved ones, and it's also tough. It can also be really tough for a number of different reasons, because oftentimes when we do a lot of self-work and we put a lot of focus on our self-work, when we are with the people that we made all of these attachments and that we made those deep, strong pathways in our brains, when we come back to that place of origin with these same people, we often regress. That's normal to a degree, because it's easy to get triggered around the people that we've, those ruts in our brain are pretty deep. And so as hard as we try to change our brainwaves pathways and work on mindset and come back to our bodies and do all these things, oftentimes in big family gatherings or with our friends and family, we can get triggered pretty easy and just fall right back into the patterns that have existed forever. And so first off, I see you doing the hard work. And if shit falls off the rails this Thanksgiving season, it doesn't negate the work. So just remember that. It doesn't negate any of the work that you're doing. And it doesn't render it useless. It doesn't mean that you failed. It doesn't mean that you suck. It just means that sometimes it happens that way. Yeah, I want to talk to you a little bit about chi suckers, and I want to talk to you about how to protect your peace when you're around family members that feel extremely toxic or triggering or upsetting to you. Because if you decide that it's not worth it to attend the family gathering for a number of different reasons, I respect that. And, everybody should respect your decisions. But at the same time, I believe that everybody should have this information in order to attend the gatherings and in order to be with their families, even when they feel triggered or frustrated or upset or all the things, right? Okay, so first off, I want to talk a little bit about Wei Qi. So, it's so good. So let's talk first about what is Qi. This is brief. This is going to be brief. Qi is translated to energy in the Western world. And that's kind of a shitty translation, to be honest with you. Because Qi is also life force. It's in charge of warming, transforming. It's the difference between somebody who's dead and somebody who's alive. But it encompasses both substance and function. So if you actually look at the character of Qi, it looks like rice that's boiling in a pot. So it's activating, it's containing, it's protecting, it's warming, it's transforming, it's doing all of these different things. So it's more than just saying energy. It's more than energy. And taking it a step further, there's different types of Qi. One of those types of Qi is called Wei Qi. We talked about this in our How to Not Feel Like Shit This Fall. So Wei Qi is responsible for, it resides in the exterior of your body. So it functions to protect you from pathogenic influence. If it's weak, you will have porous boundaries. You can also physiologically have tendencies towards lung problems, getting sick easily, asthma, allergies. Your skin might be clammy, or you might get chilled. And there might be this kind of skin boundary laxity. So what does it mean? It means that the energy of others can easily stick. It can easily stick, right? So an example of somebody, and I'm not saying that this isn't like a one size fits all, right? None of this is. But for somebody who has porous boundaries, you might have difficulty saying no. You might overshare your personal information, or accept bad behavior from others, or put the needs of others before you. People pleasing oftentimes, or seeking approval, especially from loved ones. And it might be difficult for you to maintain privacy. You might feel anxious or guilty, and this kind of like enmeshment happens. And enmeshment means that it's kind of this codependency that occurs, because you actually might kind of like this aspect of it, not necessarily but it's happening, and you are actually getting something from that. To a chi sucker, somebody who is porous is an ideal candidate for them. Okay, so a chi sucker is an individual who saps you of your life force, of your energy. And somebody who is a chi sucker could have some of the following attributes. They could have negative body language. They could seek external validation for their own internal solutions. They might be unable to look at themselves or feel like they're needy. They're looking for something to make them feel better, essentially. They lack self-awareness. They also maybe lack the responsibility for themselves. They might talk shit about other people. They're very egocentric. They want to be fixed, possibly. Oof, that is a tough one for me, the fix-it people. That is like so hard for me in practice. The people that just walk through the door and they're like, fix me. Put a pin here, fix me. Yeah, that doesn't work like that. And they figure that out real quick. The number one symptom of somebody who is a chi sucker to the victim, I'll say, is fatigue, malaise, drain. And we've all had that experience, right? When we're around somebody and it's like they sap us of our energy. We feel exhausted. And we also maybe aren't aware of this happening. And so maybe we feel exhausted, and we can blame it on a number of different things. But if you kind of zoom out and see it from a zoomed out position, you might start to recognize, oh man, I think from this relationship, I'm not getting what I thought I got. And I'm actually really tired. They make me feel very, very tired. Now we extend the chi sucker to the chi suck. This could be a place or a thing who also saps you of your energy. So it could be like an actual location that you're at, like your parents' house. It could be an event that you dread, like Thanksgiving. It could be a project. It could be your work. It could be politics. Like it could be a variety of different things. And like I said, this is a place or a thing that sucks you of your energy, of your life force. And the chi suck invades your personal space, or at least it feels like that. It feels like a violation. And maybe you lack awareness, and maybe you don't actually know or can recognize. So I do definitely encourage you to zoom out a little bit and to take inventory, energetic inventory of what are the things that light me up and what are the things that make me feel fatigued, drained, down, logy, exhausted, like I need to lay down, like these types of things. So it's a multi-layered problem, right? One, you could be porous, and let's add to that, it's the fall season. So even if you're not porous, this is the time of year where your lung chi is going to be a little bit lower. Your wei chi is going to be a little bit more deficient in general. So You could be porous, one. Two, the chi sucker people who are preying upon you, possibly. And this dynamic together might feel really draining. So again, inventory, take energetic inventory. Who is sucking your life force and your energy? It's really good information to have. So in order to take inventory, you have to ask yourself some questions about this. And you have to notice how it feels in your body. So our minds have this amazing way, and our minds are amazing. And, it's not to discount that. But the information that comes from our body is actually our truth. So if we can get really good at differentiating full body yeses and full body nos in our own systems, in our own bodies, that will really, really help. I do have a list of questions that you could ask in order to identify things that are sucking your energy. I think I'm going to say that this is also part in the this is part of the course that I've written that I'm going to teach. And so we go into a lot more detail about identification of chi suckers and the how-tos of going through even, important decisions by using our bodies. So I'm gonna save some of this. I'm gonna save some of it. But I want to say that cultivating a level of trust with our systems will help us get fast feedback. So you ever have those times where you mull things over in your brain and you're just thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking? You can go for hours and on and on and on and on and on. And you come up short of like, okay, I don't actually have an answer. I don't actually know a direction. Using your body to make decisions, embodied feedback is really fucking fast. It's really fast. It's like, yes, no. Like it's that fast. So it should take you 2 seconds to figure out your full body yeses and your full body nos. Again, we go more into this in the course. So I wanted to tell you that the number one thing that you can do if Uncle Ned, just pick a random name. If Uncle Ned starts going on and on and on about Trump, let's say, and you are somebody who did not vote for Trump and you don't want to hear about it, or if Aunt Nancy makes a comment about your marital status or about your past, boyfriend or whoever, you can recognize, well, one, many of the things that people engage you on, it's not actually even about you. It's about them. Okay. So if somebody says something offensive to you, instead of being defensive, instead of getting combative or going on the defense, recognizing that this comment isn't even really about you. It's about their own stuff. It's about their own pre-programming, and we're all just like pre-programmed individuals that are trying to navigate the world. Some of us are awake and have awareness of that pre-programming, and other of us don't. So Uncle Ned and Aunt Nancy might have no fucking clue what you're talking about by doing, self-work and trying to kind of unpack generational traumas and get to the root causes of, why we are the way that we are and how we can be more healthy. So anyway, again, 1, it's about their question is actually about them. 2, the best way to combat the chi suck or the chi suckers is to, in real time now. Okay. So there's a couple different categories in this. There's how do I protect myself in real time? And then what protections can I use not in real time with the chi sucker, where I can use my tools to protect myself. And then the next layer of it is, okay, I've picked up something, it's stuck, it's sticky, I'm porous. How do I discharge it? Right? So there's different layers. So the number one practice that I'm going to give to you is actually how do I protect myself in real time, right? You're sitting at the Thanksgiving table and Aunt Nancy says, "Why aren't you married?" Okay. You are going to bring all of your attention and your awareness to your edges. You're going to notice, where do I stop and where do you begin? You're going to bring your awareness to your body, and that will help you distinguish the difference between you and the energetic influences of others. It helps your body stay rooted, right? Because there are these processes that can go awry in instances where you immediately want to go on the defense. And it's like bringing your energy back to your system is going to be helpful for you. Your body will always be in the present moment, always, always, always. So you can always use it as a tool to be in the present moment. The next one, and this is kind of part of Feel Your Edges, but it takes it up a notch, which this is the one that I use the most. So you bring your awareness to your edges, but you, instead of just feeling your edges, you're going to imagine yourself. You're going to do some imaginal work, literally in real time. You're going to imagine that your whole body is a mirror that's facing outward. So when Aunt Nancy looks at you, she's not looking at you, she's looking at herself. Okay? So this helps to deflect her energy. This helps she can only see herself. This is about her, remember? So her comment is actually about her. So what better way than to her be actually just looking at her, right? So imagining yourself as a mirror is a stronger boundary than just feel your edges, right? Because you can feel your edges. There's no extra like action step with that. But with this, it's like feel your edges and you're also a mirror, and only your external influences can see themselves. They can't actually see you. If you want to take that even a step further, and this is more like protective, instead of having that mirror face out, you can have that mirror face in. So what does that do? So it basically reflects your own energy back to you. So this is like, I imagine myself in a full body suit of a mirror that faces inwards. And when I even say that out loud, I can feel that. It helps to almost cocoon you in a way that's like, okay, I can only see myself. And here I am, right? She's on the outside of this, having her own little process of what's going on for her. But you're on that inside, okay? And you are protecting yourself. And there's many, many other ways to do this. And again, I go more and more into this. Is like you can give yourself a color or a texture. You can cocoon yourself. You can wrap yourself up in whatever feels the most nourishing. And you can do this in a variety of different ways. And the most important thing that I'll say is that it should feel good to you. And by the way, none of your toxic family members will actually have any clue that you're doing any of these practices, especially in real time. And I will say it does take practice because there is a level of efforting that occurs in order to hold these boundaries while you're speaking to somebody in real time. And I'll say, one, they never know that you're doing it. And I use this all the time, especially in private practice, where I'm constantly in contact with people who are suffering or who are, in their own processes, or they're making excuses for reasons why they do the things that they do, or they are, trying to elicit some type of response from me or others. And this is a really, really, really good way to help deflect some of that energy and to put your focus back on you and understanding, here I am with my emotions, here I am in my system. And it's very much delineated of where I stop and where you begin, right? Because we have these concepts of like melding, where this often happens, especially in families, where it's like our siblings, our family, even our children, we meld oftentimes with our children. And it's like, no, remembering that we are separate sense felt beings and that we are meant to experience our own emotions and to have our own processes for things. It's like, not everybody is going to be somebody that you want to be around, but you might have to be around them for a number of different reasons, whether that's work and Thanksgiving, other holidays, and hopefully your sphere of influence and the people that you spend the most time with are actually people that you don't feel like you have to necessarily have strong protections in place. I encourage you to start doing some of these practices so that way you can really feel what is mine, what is theirs. If you cultivate a practice where you're coming back to yourself and you're feeling yourself, you can then understand when it even is that you pick up something. And there are multiple things to be aware of if you think that you have picked up something. And again, we go more and more into this in the actual course. Other ways that you can be with yourself is putting your putting your energy into feeling a body part. Okay. So this can be used as like a grounding technique where you put all of your energy into feeling the bottoms of your feet against the floor as you're having a heated discussion with your aunt, right? By doing that, you are, one, encouraging your energy to go down. Number two, you're in your body in real time, and that will help with your emotional processing. And three, you will then have access to what's true for you if you are in your body. You know, many of the techniques that I teach are very much imaginal and doing imaginal work. And it really is true that your brain doesn't know the difference between imaginal work and real life. So it's really, really useful to do. And I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again. The reason why I developed these practices is when I was a wee baby acupuncturist, I had to treat patients who were suffering. And I had this one patient who would come into the clinic with a really intense condition, and I would be right in it with her. Like, I would be so far in it, I couldn't even recognize where my edges were. I could not even recognize. We melted it. And I felt like I was doing such a good job with her. And I would leave every single day with full body joint pain. Her chief complaint was full body joint pain, almost like it transferred. It was bizarre. And I felt like shit every single clinic day because I couldn't understand why was it that I would just pick up everything and have just no awareness of it. Again, I thought I was doing a really, really great job. And I was, but I was overworking. It's like noticing when you're kind of leaning forward. And you might not be physically leaning forward. You might be energetically leaning forward in your work where it's like you're giving it all, right? Energy should come in and down and out, right? From source, not from your own physical self. Your own physical self shouldn't just be hemorrhaging energy into any given social situation, given work situation, or you will be left on empty, right? This is, and we talked about last week, this is the energy of lack. It's like pouring forth everything, right? We should be abundantly overflowing in our lives. And so often we are hemorrhaging energy, right? So all of this will help in the awareness of understanding what is happening here and how can I protect myself? How can I put my energy on my own body? How can I be with myself in real time? The other thing that I want to talk about is the use of alcohol in like family gatherings, which I'm not going to pretend like I'm a saint of any kind because I'm not. I do enjoy a glass of wine. I do enjoy a bottle of wine at times. But if you are going into a family situation where things are already kind of a little bit like maybe awry, or you anticipate some stuff going down, my advice to you is to have a drink, but just a drink. I think when we drink to excess in family gatherings, well, one, your awareness just kind of goes out the window for most people. So it's like alcohol helps it helps to soften the edges of our brains, and awareness shifts oftentimes. And the other thing is alcohol, from a Chinese medicine perspective, increases our heat, our internal heat. And as we've all learned, when there's too much heat inside, it rises, right? It creates a red face or dizziness or a headache or, just dysregulation, right? And it can be used therapeutically for somebody who needs to have that stronger blood moving or that raising, right? So anything in excess in TCM and in Eastern dietary therapy is something that we should avoid. And that's true. That's true for family gatherings and for Thanksgiving. And, more is not always better for a variety of different reasons. More is not always better. So I encourage you to moderate your use of substances, especially around toxic family members. Because remember, we are trying to raise our energetic vibration. So if we are around family members and then we get stressed and then we start drinking and then, we're kind of tipsy and we're drunk. And now we're talking shit with our cousin in the closet. It's like, is that what we're trying to do here? Right? It's like, let's all bring a sense of love and of openness and of purity and pure consciousness to our Thanksgivings. And we do that by being a pure vessel. Again, I'm not a saint. I am going to have a glass of wine on Thanksgiving. Maybe even a couple. We've all been at family gatherings where, somebody drinks too much, right? So don't be that person. Don't be that person. Yeah. As much as alcohol can be fun, it can also be pretty toxic and pretty detrimental in a lot of different ways. We're all trying to kind of better ourselves and undo some of our pre-programming. If we just go to our family gatherings and just fall right back into it, we kind of miss the point. So anything that we can do to prepare ourselves for these gatherings in a healthy way that makes us feel like we're healthy and we're thriving, I think that's a really, really positive thing. And the last thing that I want to say is, if your family members are not who you wish they are, I see you, and it's okay to wish for something different and to grieve the loss of something different. But it's not okay to get stuck in that. Right? So let's grieve the loss of our family members, but let's move through it. Let's move through it in a way that feels productive and open and like there isn't demand, because we're not stopping anything up. We're just letting it flow through. And yeah, I think we all have those family members who we just wish were maybe different. And I always like to say that suffering occurs when we wish for something to be different than what it is. And so if we can just let it move through us, we can process our emotion in real time, and without having it get stuck and causing us problems and disease and issues later down the road. So I host Thanksgiving every year. Gosh, I think this is the 8th or 9th year that we've been doing Thanksgiving. And yeah, a lot of work goes into that. The lists, the recipes, getting everything, all the prep work. And truly, that's something that I really, really love to do. It's something that I really love to do, but it also takes a lot. So if you're somebody who's the host or hostess, I hope you're able to give yourself a little bit of grace. And I have clear memories of feeling so fucking stressed around this holiday, I would gear up for it like weeks in advance, and I would be manically like writing out all my lists, and I'd call my sister frantically like, oh, please come help me. I like to think that throughout the years it's gotten a little bit easier with time and practice. It's gotten a little bit easier, but if you are the hostess, give yourself some grace, and it's okay if things don't go perfect. Yeah. So anyway, that is all I have for you today, and I hope that you have a really, really nourishing, fulfilling, good Thanksgiving holiday. And like I said, if shit goes off the rails and something happens, it really truly doesn't negate all the work that you've done. And it doesn't negate any of that. It doesn't. It just means that, there's a blip, and let's work through that. Let's use our tools to then work through that. Yeah. Okay. So that is all I have for you. I hope that you have a wonderful holiday, and I can't wait to see you next time. Bye.